Hey everyone, Pam Bam Rich here, and welcome to the second episode of the Bomberman Hero playthrough. In the last episode, we've gone through Area 1 of Planet Bomber and have been introduced to the plot and whatnot of this game, and now we are going through Area 2 here with the Blue Cave. The target score to get rank 5 here is 3,000 points, so it's not much in terms of exploration, but it's a nice introduction to sort of like get you into the mood of the game and how it does introduce different environments as opposed to the usual training facility that we were in Area 1. And we'll continue to explore that here as we dive deeper into this cave. Okay, good start so far. So you might have noticed that my... Good start. So you might have noticed that my powers have reset to 1 at the bottom right corner there. Essentially, whenever you restart, after shutting off the game, all your upgrades will go down to its basic positions essentially. So with that in mind, you have to sort of be mindful of that, especially when it comes to the health upgrade that I think I mentioned in the last episode. The health upgrade is something that you can get upon acquiring 200 gems, which is fine and great because like your life bar extends by 1, but that only lasts for as long as you keep the game on. And it's kind of unfortunate because when you get to the later bosses in this game, it does prove to be a bit of a hassle in that sense because essentially it's just, I don't know, it makes it very grindy when it gets to that point when you're in the later levels and whatnot. But this level is very self-explanatory, it's very linear, there isn't really much to it other than the introduction of a new aesthetic. And thankfully it's like a cave and there's a ton of water, but there's no swimming yet. And there we go, that's the Blue Cave, very simple, 3,000 points, simple rank 5. And now we're going to Whole Lake, and this is our introduction to the power gear. This is a mechanic in Bomberman Hero where you experience different gameplay styles that you might have noticed in the opening of this game. And of course, the first one that they're going to introduce us to is the one that many people always dread in whatever game that they play is all about swimming. But this one isn't really so bad, to be honest, compared to other platformers that have swimming levels and whatnot. But you still do have to be mindful of the points that you acquire. So here we have the Bomberman with the use of the power gear that we were introduced to in the last episode. We don't really actually see it, we're just told that we were given it. And mechanics are a little bit different here. You got inverted controls, you got to press up to go down, and hold down to tilt upwards. And in order to advance, you hold A to swim forward, and you swim in the direction that you're tilted towards. And you hold B to go backwards. So the target score here is 7,000 points, but there is something that I am going to talk about here that's introduced in this level that is very helpful in terms of game design, because in this level there are enemies here that can blow up in front of your face, or enemies that you can miss unless you kill them first before they get to your proximity. If they explode with you not destroying them first, you don't get points for it. But when you do destroy them, you actually get an additional amount of points. So acquiring the rank 5 in this level isn't really as lenient as one may perceive at first. So if you ever need like an extra boost in points towards getting that rank 5, then that's the way that you gotta do it. Like destroying enemies that aren't really a part of the threshold of the target score, which in this case is the those mines that would like go towards you. And thankfully we have ourselves the fireproof vest in the beginning. I think I called it the invisibility vest several times throughout the last episode, but yeah, it's actually called the fireproof vest. Staple Bomberman power-up, I think since the first game on the NES, but I know for sure it's shown up in Bomberman 2 at least. I know definitely for sure it showed up in the Game Boy version, and someday I'll be playing that game in the future. But as you might have noticed, this level has demonstrations of the N64's well-known draw distance. Well, at least a lot of 90s, mid to late 90s 3D platformers where they demonstrate their draw distance, and Bomberman Hero is no exception. But the whole gimmick of this part of the stage is all about the Moai statues flying up and down, and that's where you gotta be a little bit careful in terms of your positioning. Of course, if you were to like rush through it on first go, then you're gonna get creamed pretty badly. So when you get through this level, you kind of want to play things a little bit safe here. And they're indestructible too, so you won't be able to get points from them. But thankfully with the Blue Marine, you can go backwards, which does... Did I call it Blue Marine? No, I'm not playing Star Fox. It's the Bomber Marine, where you thankfully can go backwards, unlike Star Fox 64, and you can, like, explore safely to look for any nook and cranny that you missed, as opposed to, like, other areas, like in Area 1 of Planet Bomber, where you essentially go through a one-way path and can't keep going. Sometimes you do sort of have to, like, discover which of these stone towers are that you can break with your bombs, and you do get points for them too. But again, a lot of these Bomber Marine levels are all about just exploring up and down through every nook and cranny like every other level, but it takes it with different mechanics. So it still keeps the essence of what Bomberman Hero is, plus essentially just in a different mechanic and whatnot. So with those mines, you do have to be very careful with them. I mean, yeah, self-explanatory, but the radius for their explosion is a lot bigger than your 4 firepower here for Bomberman. And there is going to be another object that we'll be witnessing in game soon that will match that level of radius. I think in the next level, actually. But yeah, thankfully these bombs that you get with the Bomber Marine, they're actually semi-homing. If you're near an enemy that can essentially be destroyed, it will home towards that object, and it's kind of a great way to sort of like discover which objects are actually destructible and which ones are not, in order to get those extra points that you may be missing in your first run. Those crab enemies here, as we first were introduced to in the Blue Cave, they do guard, so for some reason they're able to guard your explosion, which doesn't really make much sense to me because they're crabs. They should be able to explode regardless of how far they are from it or how they're able to defend it. But essentially, actually no, did I just say how far? No, I meant to say like how they're able to defend it, because like, can they really defend that? I don't know, I'm not much of a biologist, clearly. But in any case, that's their whole gimmick when it comes to destroying those crabs. And always remember, when you are trying to get the target score, always get all the power-ups even when you think you don't need it, because they all count towards the target score for rank 5. But again, because we were also introduced to enemies that aren't really considered for the rank 5 for this level, then we should still be fine. There are no add-up bombs here yet, but I think we will be running into one soon. But right at the end of the level here, we have ourselves a gigantic crab and his little baby brother or something like that. And we're kind of getting... When that giant crab is destroyed, that's when the level ends. So I feel like I'm 50 points behind, actually, from the target score, because it seems that we are missing a gem or some sort. So I'm going to do a little bit of backtracking here. Give me a moment. Okay, so we're back. I did a little bit of backtracking, but I wasn't able to find something. I think it was probably at the very beginning of the level. The reason why I was backtracking is because we have essentially 50 points that we're missing. Normally when you're down 50 points for a level that doesn't have an out-up bomb, that means you're definitely missing a power-up. But now that I'm like slowly reminding myself of this, turns out that baby crab is actually a gigantic crab itself. So it turns out the first one that we destroyed was the child or something like that. So we should be fine in terms of points, because we did destroy quite a number of mines, so we don't necessarily have to find that final power-up. I was just a little bit paranoid, thinking that I was down a certain point threshold, but it seems that you are going to get 3,000 points as you destroy the boss here at the very end here. And there we go. We just reached our threshold, and you do actually have to go all the way over here to advance. And very nice, we got ourselves our rank 5 with our first power gear level with the Bomber Marine. That takes us here to the Red Cave. Now, the Red Cave here, we're not going to be rank 5ing this yet, because this game does in fact have alternative routes, as we previously established in the last episode. By the way, that bomb there was the one that had the bigger blast radius than 4, besides the mines. Well, actually, no, they look the same now that I'm looking at it, but maybe the perspective sort of like skewed me over in terms of the Bomber Marine. Maybe the mines were the exact same. But yes, there is an alternative exit here in this level, so we won't be getting a 5 rank here yet. in order to get to the alternative exit, we have to go through a couple of these obstacles here at the bottom level. And at the same time, we see ourselves a random platform here, which is from akin to how it was in the training facility of the bomber base, I guess I'm gonna call it. Yeah, I'm pretty sure it was called the bomber base, but you do get points whenever... Wow, okay, I never knew you could actually get collision damage with those bombs. That's actually a first for me. But, interesting. But this is the exit that we're going to take towards the next area we'll be going to, which is, in fact, the Dark Wood. So Dark Wood here, we're going to be 5ing. It's very simple. It's just 2,500 points, but there are stumps that have a discoloration to them. Those stumps are actually enemies, so you'll see this one right over here. I always remembered... Actually, no, that one over there is an enemy. They're not more so discolored now that I'm looking at it. It's more so that their roots are a little bit curved up. You want to avoid the red tornadoes in this level, and because they damage you, but the white tornadoes are friendly tornadoes according to the tutorial that I missed there earlier. And here's our first ad-hoc bomb of this area. Just a friendly reminder that there are 2 ad-hoc bombs per area. So here we're going to destroy this other stump here. It is good to sort of like destroy them from a distance in order to save time, because ultimately when you run up to one of them here, they're going to be spouting poison gas towards you, which can cause your bombs to explode early if they collide with it. But thankfully, again, even if you wake them up, they're not really so bad. It's just that force of habit. I always enjoy just destroying them before they were animated. So with the ad-hoc bomb, that does give us 50 points of leniency when it comes to destroying or getting the rank 5 of this level. But it's such a small level that we could just collect them all just fine. We really don't have to worry much about that. We got ourselves a switch here, which will grant us access to this platform that is going all the way over there. I mean, that's normally how you're supposed to get the ad-hoc bomb. Actually, no. You use that platform to get the other 2 gems that are above there. Sorry, it's been a while since I last practiced this level here. But yeah, we're gonna go to where the ad-hoc bomb originally was. So even if you are going like with the regular progression of this level, to get the rank 5, the ad-hoc bomb is gonna come naturally. So you shouldn't really have to worry too much in terms of points. I'm only going here because I need to get the 5k or 500 point one there, and then there's gonna be one small gem here at the end. We don't need that because we got the ad-hoc bomb and we got our rank 5. Very nice. Alright, next up is Dragon Road. I like this one because it does force you to do quite a bit of exploration, and we also encounter enemies that are part of that whole, they're not necessary to kill, like these knives here. And I do appreciate that about games that are designed that way, because that's something out of your control, like dependent on how quickly you advance through the level. And if you just like rush in and those knives get destroyed and are required to get the points for rank 5, then that would be bad game design. But thankfully Hudson knew what they were doing. Here we're also introduced to another new enemy. Unfortunately, I don't know much about the official names of these enemies because, well, I do have a manual, but I mean it's the Wii manual. I'm playing this on the Virtual Console here, so I can't really say whether the original manual does have the enemy names or not, except for bosses, obviously. But yeah, I just call them like grappler enemies. They cause, as you can tell, rocks falling from above. And when we go down to the lower level right here, which is what we're going to do right now, those rocks will still become obstacles here. So, yeah, I do love this level because it does encourage you to explore both planes, the upper plane and the lower plane here, in order to get the rank 5 of the stage. And again, that's what this game is all about when it comes to its design. It's all about exploration and discovering all the points through every nook and cranny, and it does make it a nice game to sort of just 100% every now and then, except for the final levels, but I'll get into that a little bit later. It's actually due to a gimmick that you will be seeing very shortly in this episode. But yeah, the whole gimmick of the bottom plane here is to avoid all the rocks here. We got ourselves a new item here. This yellow heart does restore all damaged health bars, so if I was like down at 3, it would have restored 3. So yeah, that's what that yellow heart is all about. We're going to continue going down the lower plane here, and this is pretty much the gist of the lower plane. So now we're going to go back all the way to the top here. Thankfully, there are a number of ways to go all the way up. So we're going to go take these protrusions of the cliff here in order to proceed further. We're gonna go a little bit further to the left here, got ourselves an extra 100 points to sort of give ourselves a little bit of flexibility in terms of getting to rank 5. Actually, I think this should be it. Yeah, I think we just went back to where we fell off the cliff, but just to be safe, I'm gonna double check right over here. Should be fine. Alright, so we're gonna continue going on forward here. There shouldn't be another cranny here in terms of this part of the stage. But what we're going to do now, we see an add-up bomb here. It's self-explanatory. Just blow up a bomb right here to gain access to it. I don't know, I always found this self-explanatory. When I was a kid, I just like, oh, an add-up bomb. How do I get to it? Oh, let's just use our bombs, obviously. And then it just broke it. Like, it's self-explanatory, to the point. That's what bombs do, after all. So this part of the level is a little bit weird, because, like, when you walk up this path here, you're gonna keep sliding down. So it does train you to sort of just do, like, a running jump in a sense. So run and jump at the same time. And it's a little bit of an interesting trick that you're taught early on in the progression of this game. But, it is interesting nonetheless. We got ourselves a gem over here, and ourselves another, Mega Gem. Gives us 500 points, and this guy here should give us 500 points as well. A bigger version of the standard enemies, which is a running theme of this game, but something that I still kind of welcome. Because they're not really meant to be bosses or mini-bosses, they're just like obstacles that sort of teach you about the enemies that you progress through throughout this throughout the stage. And there's our rank 5, 3650, and here we go with the boss fight against Nitros. Get a little bit of cutscene right over here, but there is a gimmick to boss levels where when you fight them, your target score is now a timer that starts at the utmost largest value, and it goes down, like basically what a timer is. So we learn here that Nitros is a soldier of the Garden Empire, and this guy is essentially our recurring boss fight throughout the game. And this is the boss battle that does have one of my favorite songs in the soundtrack, known as Tripod, but I mistook as the other song earlier. But here you'll see that Nitro's gimmick is all about going to these panels here, and when he activates them, he will let them activate whatever special power the panel provides. So the target score here is 7,000 points. As you see here, my timer, my score is going down, acting as a timer. So that's the whole shtick with boss fights. And that's what I'm kind of like hit or miss about when it comes to boss fights in terms of 100%ing. But it's okay, that's where the challenge comes in. And it really, like, the scores to get 100%, like rank 5, are pretty stiff, to be honest. Especially even the final boss. And that I'll be getting into once we get there. And look how quickly the timer goes. But thankfully we're able to get our rank 5 because this was our first boss fight. And we managed to destroy Nitros. Yeah, I never saw the ice shards actually get destroyed by a bomb explosion before from those blue panels. So that was the first for me. But we got ourselves a rank 5 and we managed to beat Nitros. That won't be the last time we'll be seeing him, as he is a recurring boss. And the upgrades that he gets are interesting to say the least. And here we're introduced to the robot that was with Princess Milian at the beginning of the game, Piebot, and he is now going to be essentially our Omochao of the rest of the game here, essentially telling us the general gist of what we just saw earlier today, earlier in the game, and apparently there are some discs that we have to look for as well. So we don't really know exactly what those discs are for, but we're a hero, we're Bomberman, it's Bomberman hero, we are here to save the day and do good, because that's who we are. Well, actually, it's more so the fact that the enemies were chasing the princess for the disc. We really don't know or care what it's for. I don't think we ever do know what that's for. I'm gonna rediscover it as we continue with this game, obviously. But yeah, so we're gonna be advancing to the next area with our new companion, Piebot, and we will be trying to rescue the princess in Area 3 of Planet Bomber. So in the next episode, we will actually be backtracking to Area 2 of Planet Bomber before we continue on with Area 3, because there's a lot more to this area that I have to show off clearly, and then thereafter we'll be finishing off with the rest of Planet Bomber. So for the next episode, we'll do just that, and until next time, take care.